Hey guys, it's Smart Packer Sarah, and I'm here to do Smart Pack's first ever tag video. And we're really excited. We love engaging with you guys on YouTube and on all of our social channels. And so we are excited to do our first tag video and get you guys involved in the action. Today's topic is going to be one of our favorite things to talk about, and I think this is pretty universal for riders everywhere. Talking about horse names. So we're going to take kind of a trip down memory lane, talk about current horses, and just talk about all things names, and then we can't wait to hear from you guys. So my first question is, what is the name of the first horse I rode? And you would think because I'm the first one doing the tag video and because I came up with the questions, you would think I would have a better answer for this, but I actually don't know definitely the first horse I rode. There's a lot of like pony parties and stuff like that, and you're riding at fairs and things. So all of those count, but I don't know any of their names. The first lesson horse that really made an impression on me was a horse named Deuce, and he was a big chestnut with a big blaze, and he was just a really steady guy. I've always been a fan of quarter horses, and he just had the quarter horse mentality, he had the quarter horse personality, work ethic, and actually reminds me a little bit of this guy on the wall behind me. This is in our conference room Congress, and so it's where we celebrate all things all around Western. And so Deuce was a really awesome horse. And while it's not the first horse I rode, I would also be remiss if I didn't mention a lesson horse named Peter Pan. He was a very special little pinto pony, probably. I thought he was huge at the time. But he had a lot of really interesting personality quirks. He was really quiet, really patient, but just kind of did his own thing and really wasn't going to go at anyone else's speed but his own. And he had these ears that flopped out to the side, like little airplane ears is what we used to call them. And he was just so laid back and awesome. And I loved him so much that I actually made a little embroidered is, I'm using loosely here, wall decoration that I didn't really understand why people used so many stitches when they were doing embroidery, because you could just get the same length in just one stitch. So I made that, and I still have it to this day. I treasure it, and all of my friends treasure it, and my sisters as well, as something to make fun of me for. So that's a relic of the impression that Peter Pan made on my life. So those are kind of my first horses. And the next question is the first horse that I owned or leased. And it's actually the same answer for both. The first leasing opportunity that I had, thanks to the kindness of my parents, was a wonderful little leopard Appaloosa pony of the Americas named Cocoa Puff. And he was very adorable and a little bit had a face only a mother could love. Looking back on the photos, he has a big Roman nose and a really modeled muzzle, and around his eyes too with the modeling, but he was adorable and I loved him, and we had such a good bond. We did horse shows and parades and everything together. And in my very first horse show with him, I won the trail class because he was the only horse who wasn't afraid of the mailbox, and I was very, very proud of him. And so that was my first horse. The next question might be my favorite. What's the name of the naughtiest horse you've ever ridden? I, for my whole life, have been very short, and still to this day, am pretty modest height. But when I was a kid, I was, 14 and still barely 4 feet tall. And so I had the pleasure of having a lot of experience. I had the advantage of having a lot of experience, but also having a small size. So I had the pleasure of riding all of the challenging ponies and making them be good for the little kids. And one such pony we got was named Herbie, and he was about 12 hands tall, and he just had one of those manes that like shot up and then out on both sides, and huge forelock, and just looked like the Thelwell pony, like a typical, like almost just came out of the dryer and was just like poof, like so big with his hair. He was ridiculous, and he had the personality to match. And Herbie was particularly troublesome. He was a little bit naughty handling him on the ground. He'd bite you, whatever, typical pony stuff. But when you got him under a saddle, he would just grab the bit in his teeth and run. And I can remember a Saturday afternoon, my instructor is trying to do lessons in the arena and I'm trying to make Herbie cooperate in any sort of way. And he just takes the bit in his teeth and starts tearing around the ring. And I can remember having like a 5-minute conversation with my trainer about like, I can't stop him, I don't know what to do. And he's just running tirelessly with no goal in mind, just absolutely wanted to do his own thing. And yeah, he pretty much did that for the rest of his life. He would be really, really good for 75% of the rides. And then a quarter of the time, he was just a wild, naughty thing. But I think he taught a lot of kids a lot of good lessons and about always preparing for the unexpected. I know for me, that was a big lesson that I learned from Herbie. And never to be too proud, because he could make anyone feel foolish. My next question is, what is the name of my current horse? And my current horse has a very good, very standard and stoic quarter horse name. His name is Cody, and his real name is Counts Copper Cody. And he was my first real, big show horse. And we did quarter horse shows in New York and Connecticut, New Jersey. We went out to the Quarter Horse Congress together. And then I eventually took him to college with me. By that time, I was doing more of the hunter jumper stuff. So he was starting to no longer be my competitive horse, but he's always the one that I'll have with me. He lives right now at a barn that's owned by family friends of ours in New York, and he works in their lesson program. He also works with some of the cadets at the local military academy, and he also works a little bit in their therapeutic riding program, and he is just a treasure. He's the horse I will always have, and so that's my Cody man. My dad calls him the Code Master, which is very, very nice. That's for you, Dad. And what is my favorite name for a horse? This is our last question, and this is kind of not the favorite name of a horse you've ever had, but what would be your favorite name for a horse that you could ever think of naming a horse? And I just think there's something about, for me, it's always ponies. I always want to name ponies because ponies are adorable. And I love when ponies have really, really cute, really charming names, and they go into the ring and the girl's in braids and it's just a little trit-trot and they're so perfect. Sunday's Best was one of my favorite pony names that I ever heard. I thought that was adorable because most horse shows are on Sundays and everybody's all dressed up and it's just so wonderful. But I've thought about naming a pony Argyle, like little Argyle socks. It always feels very preppy and very proper, a little Argyle pony. And then also, I don't know, there's something just really cute about it. So little Argyle is the pony that I would probably name if one of my kids wants to ride one day, although they'll probably hate that name. So I'll probably have to think of something else. All right, so now is the fun part where we get to tag people who are going to continue on the tradition of the tag video for horse names. And I am going to be tagging SmartPacker Brooke to talk a little bit about some of her favorite horse names and her walk down memory lane. And then we also want to tag 2 of our awesome YouTube fans who like to engage with us on our videos and leave us comments. We want to recognize you guys for being awesome. So my fellow SmartPackers are also going to be tagging a couple of fans. I will be tagging Fastest Final Furlong and Snicker Bunchies because I think that is also a name for a pony that I would like to steal. And so you guys, if you are tagged, it is your chance to do the video. And any of our other fans who want to join and get in on the fun, we would love to have you participate and share your horse names tag video, tag your friends, and keep the fun going. Thanks a lot and have a great ride.